Apoyowunu. Today we are in Lira City, one of the fastest growing cities in northern Uganda. Now, one cannot talk about this region without mentioning the insurgency that destabilized it for over 20 years. However, peace has since then returned, and in a recent report by the World Bank in partnership with UNICEF and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, there has been a significant decline in household poverty levels in this region compared to some regions in the country that have had more stability in the past decades. My guest today has contributed to the statistics by not only empowering herself, but also the low-income earners in her community.
My name is Immaculate Akullo, a beekeeper by profession. Live in Upclose district, Adok sub-county. I love beekeeping, and this is my story. I have a diploma in beekeeping from Nyabe Forestry College and a director at Archways Agro Farm Limited. I'm a married woman with 1 child and 4 dependents. I live in Lira City and I have a bee farm with 230 beehive. The 200 are the modern beehive and the 30 are the local beehive. My grandfather was a beekeeper and we used to eat honey, although it was boiled honey, because he had no knowledge about beekeeping. And my father, since he was educated, he was really motivated in the modern beekeeping. When I completed my secondary level, he advises me to go for beekeeping. And I personally, since I used to love honey, I accepted. And looking at the traditional bee farmers, beekeeping was for men only. And my thinking why beekeeping was for men only, because women would only wait to boil honey and to go and sell. And at the end of the day, men would take the money. And also people used to think that it's only honey that is a major product in the hive. They didn't know that all the hive products had value. So me as a woman, I'd wanted to show the world, to show the country that beekeeping can be done by any other person, not only men. That's why I'm standing in front and saying women should come in for beekeeping, and beekeeping is not only for men, but it's for children, for women, for disabled people. So beekeeping is for all. When I completed my diploma in 2012 and I came back home, what I could do was only to mop the house, cook food for my parents. Then I sat down and said, no, I cannot just sit with my papers at home. Because when you try to look around, there were no jobs for beekeeping except the entomologists at the district, and when you go to them, they tell you there are no vacancy. I sat down and asked my father, I really need to start doing something. And my father gave me 100,000 to start the business of beekeeping. And most people always think for someone to start a business, you first need to have $1 million. But I started with 100,000. I bought comb honey at 5,000 a kilo, and I had no money to rent a house to start the business. I went to some man in the town. I tried to request him to give me his veranda. So at the veranda, I used to pack comb honey and process also liquid honey out of 100,000. So out of 100,000, I would pack comb honey, a kilo I sell at 15,000. A liter I would sell at 18,000 by then. That was 2013. So people would come to buy my products. When I process, I used to use a drip and settling method. That is to say, I could use a piece of cloth, then a bucket. Then I use elastic, I tie my bucket, pour my comb honey, then it would be dripping on its own. But the farmers who were like my competitors, they would boil theirs. So what would make me different from them is processing raw honey without boiling. And people who would test my product, they would ask me, why is your product so unique? Then I would tell them, this is my field of profession because I could not adulterate my honey. And also adding value to wax. I would process my wax, and whoever would come and see the wax, since it was a new thing to the community, they would say, are you selling cake? Since the wax looks yellow. So I would tell them, no, this is one of the hive product, value added. My father would tell me, why don't you put your papers there to tell people that that is your field of profession? I denied. I said, no, my explanation is enough to make my customers understand. And I work at the veranda for 2 years. So my brother asked me, what is your challenge as per now? I told him my challenge is capital. What I've saved can make me start something. We can open a company. Then my brother was like, I don't have knowledge about beekeeping. If we open a company, how are we going to run? I said, I can manage. So we started the process of opening our company towards the end of 2016. And we came out with the company, Archways Agro Farm Limited. What we started was to buy the hive. We combined the little money I had plus what he had. We started with 100 hive, the Kenya top bar. And the local one, I was making them myself. There's a member from a petty community group here who was my very good friend. He could go and chat with me in the office, most time telling me, Immaculate, why don't you really offer us also trainings? Because I have my people there. They are really interested in beekeeping, but they don't have the capacity to pay for that training. One time I organized this myself. I came to this group. They didn't pay me.
Around May 2019, Immaculate visited and trained us on modern beekeeping. We have since gained a lot from beekeeping. After harvesting, we sell off the honey. We deposit the proceeds of the sale into our village savings account. The members of the savings group are able to borrow from this account and pay back with an interest. You may then use the money borrowed to pay for school fees and also invest in your other businesses.
I got certain members. I offered a free training for them, and they were happy. Still, the man kept insisting, please, Immaculate, in case of an opportunity, help us. You see those hives there? There are about 10 hives somewhere there. You look at them. They had that hive. I told them, in case of an opportunity, I'm not going to leave you, because already I was working with other farmers in other sub-counties, except them. So when the BDMF came, the Bee Diverse Matching Facility came, I told this man there is a grant that we are supposed to apply. 17 people got the grant, and 5 people in Lira got the grant. But if you ask even Mr. Julius Unen, who is our coordinator, he will tell you that I think Archways is the best performance. And the reason as to why I went to Netherlands, when the Netherlands people came and inspected the 17 people, they recommended me as the best person who has performed. Because first of all, changing these people from the 10 hive, the way they're looking, and bringing them there. And I'm telling you, these people have sold their honey now to me 3 times. Whereby the first time they harvested about 56 kilos within the first harvest. The second harvest was about 70 kilos. And the last harvest they did it this year was 86 kilos. So to me, they used to harvest their honey and share it. They eat it. But now, since they have their village saving, after selling, when they get their money, they put into the group. And the group have their plan. And looking at Aperi and also people in Ugur, because I have also the support has also supported people in another sub-county. We have people in Ugur, we have people in Aromo, and then the Lira city. The youth, the women, and then the male. So when I look at these people, initially how they were, because in the past they would boil honey. But currently, they are not boiling honey. In the past, they would vest their hive bare-chested. But now they have protective. We have supported them with the hive. When I got this money, I brought for them, first of all, 100 beehive, the modern one. Then I added them 50 beehive. Then in Ugur, the same. I added them 100 beehive. In Aroma, 100 beehive. meaning I didn't eat the money from the project, but I wanted to change the life of the people, first of all. And all of them, the hive are not like the traditional layout. In the past, when I talk of the traditional layout, meaning our farmers used to hang their hive up on the tree, whereby women could not, traditionally it is a taboo, women cannot climb the trees to go and harvest hive up, while the men are down here looking at them up. That one is a taboo here. But now I've changed their mindset that to make women not fear beekeeping, let us try to practice the modern layout. That's why you're seeing all the hive being sited down. And we also gave them the metallic stands where we are putting the hive on the stand, not on the tree.
While training us, Immaculate enlightened us on the benefits of beekeeping. Consequently, we realized that we women could as well get involved in beekeeping because previously, it was only men who carried out the activity by hanging traditional beehives high up on the tree branches, and women were forbidden from climbing such trees. Immaculate has since then introduced us to modern beehives that are placed close to the ground, hence making it very easy for us women to harvest without involving a man. Because of this, women now have been able to pay school fees for their children after selling honey, because previously, some of the men would sell the honey and waste away all the money earned on alcohol.
To me, I look at myself to be changing the life of the community in that way. I always try to share with the people so that people can know that beekeeping is a business. In 2018 now, we were on the map because we would go for trade shows. At the trade shows, people would like test our product, get our business cards, the brochures. So we were now known. And as I talk now, Archways is we are taking the lead in the region. Looking at Archways, we don't look at only one enterprise. Since I told you earlier on that we conduct trainings to the communities and organizations, and we also write proposals, and we sometimes are lucky to get some grants, you'll realize that we also sell equipment like the beehive, the smokers, the bee suits, and not only that, I also make various cosmetics, value added from honey. I make shea butter with honey, cream, the soap. I also add value to various hive products like the raw propolis. I make it into propolis tincture, which is very medicinal for people with ulcers, boosting immunity. We also make beeswax that we always use in the hive and sell to the community for attracting the bees in the hive. And we also make wine out of honey. So looking at the various products that we make, plus the trainings that we generate money out of it, in a year, only beekeeping give us 100 million per year. For me as Akullo, I didn't know at any one time I would sit in the plane and visit outside country like the European country. I used only to hear in class. But because of beekeeping, not only that, in every competition, the people who know me, because I have friends now, when I reach, they just know that this competition Archways might take. So in 2018, during Honey Week competition, I took a trophy as the best packer and processor. Then in 2019, still the Honey Week competition, I took the trophy as the best person for that year. Then now, for the competition that New Vision organizes, best farmer in the country, I was expecting even myself to be number one. And when I was called as number two, my heart was like, I expected myself in number one. Because whatever I do in beekeeping, I do to take the lead, to make people change their mindset that women are now in the beekeeping. Young people, most time, they want something that they do today and the results is there tomorrow. But I really want to advise the young people that patience pays. Let us embrace beekeeping, since beekeeping does not require much time, and come in for beekeeping, change the mindset of other people who are already not in the beekeeping, and make beekeeping a business for everyone. Because without bees, I always conclude that without bees, we cannot survive. If we still don't have mindset change, or if our youth still have the mindset of all the time going for betting, I'm telling you, betting cannot pollinate crop. So let us embrace beekeeping. Beekeeping does not require much capital for the youth, does not require much land. As you can also see, our hive, 150 beehive has been sited in a very small piece of land. So even one big tree in your garden can make you keep 50 beehive if you are being trained. Thank you.
In the Upclose with Nakato show, we are committed to bringing you inspiring and amazing stories like that of Immaculate and her efforts to bringing about change in her society. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Vice Versa Global. And until next time, bye-bye.